This is the new Sony 24 to 50mm f2.8, their new lightweight and lower cost f2.8 standard zoom, which is something that Sony haven't made before. This is effectively the non-G Master version of their standard 24 to 70mm f2.8 zoom. And that is a fantastic lens, but it's not a cheap lens. You definitely get what you pay for, don't get me wrong, but there are lots of customers who it is just out of the price range for. So Sony's answer to that is this, the 24 to 50mm f2.8. It's nearly half the price of the G Master 24 to 70 f2.8 Mark II, but is it half the lens? So the obvious difference and compromise for that price is that we've lost 20mm of range from the long end, no more 70mm. It sounds like a big drop in range, but it's not actually that crazy in practice. It's definitely a difference, of course, but realistically, both are perfectly usable as a nice portrait focal length, and that's what matters. I would much rather it be this way around than losing the range off the wide end, like making it a 35 to 70mm, for example, as the difference on that wide end is much more noticeable than it is on the tele end. There are a few other physical differences. It's only 440 grams, so that's 250 grams lighter than the 24 to 70, and that's very welcome. It's shorter and more compact as well at 92 centimeters. So this will be a much lighter and easier lens to travel around with, that's for sure, especially paired with small cameras like this one. It has a 67mm filter diameter and has one focus hold button rather than two. But there's also a lot here that is the same. They're both full frame. They both have an iris ring and a switch to change it from clicked to unclicked, which is great. They both have that Sony fluorine coating on the front of them to repel water and make it easier to clean. Both lenses trombone in and out when they zoom, and both are dust and moisture resistant, so they'll put up with the rigors of professional life. Sony haven't skimped on the features here. This is a very well-spec'd lens, even if it isn't a G Master. But let's take a look at how the pictures look. They are certainly detailed and crisp, with a nice neutral look to the bokeh. These fairy lights look fairly neutral, as you'd expect, but they are uniform, with no unpleasantness going on. This is that clean, detailed, professional look that you'd expect from a high-quality standard zoom. It looks great. These bookcase shots also confirm just how detailed the lens is, even wide open. We actually don't notice much difference in sharpness between f2.8 and f5.6 in these tests, even at the edges, which is very impressive. The autofocus also seems to work very well. This is on the A7C Mark II in face eye tracking mode, and as you can see, it is just glued to Patrick's eyes nicely as he moves backwards and forwards in his chair. If you look at the bokeh behind him, you can see it's not quite as smooth as we've come to expect from Sony's G Master lenses. It does jump in these little steps a little bit as it moves focus. Not much, I don't think it's a big problem at all, but this is because the lens doesn't have those XD motors of the G Masters. It's not quite as good because of this as the more expensive lenses for autofocus, but it does look like it's really not that far behind. This is still more than good enough for most professional situations. Overall, I think this is a pretty fantastic little lens, which is not only a worthwhile lens to consider if you can't quite reach the price point of the 24 to 70mm Mark II, but also if you just need to travel light and want a high quality zoom with a nice f2.8 aperture that doesn't weigh that much or take up that much room in the bag. I think as a standard workhorse zoom lens, this new 24 to 50 has got a lot going for it. But let us know what you think down in the comments. And if you want to buy one for yourself, then head over to provi.co.uk. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.